Bikertv is brought to you in part by the Canadian Biker Build-Off, July 29th to 31st. The Busted Knuckle Chronicles, Western Canada's weekly biker news. Blue Collar Choppers, parts for the hardcore builder or weekend customizer. Closed captioning by Task Productions. So, you want to go fast? Welcome to Bikertv, a show by bikers, for bikers. I'm Heather Ireland.
And I'm Biba. We've got a super hot show for you today. We've got Donny Peterson, the secrets of choosing a good oil. Heather's going to crank up Omar and the Howlers and take us on a ride through Windsor, Ontario. But first, we check in on the guys and Dino's Dino.
Well, here we are at the dyno room. The dyno basically is a machine that tests horsepower, torque, and air-fuel mixtures on carbureted and fuel-injected bikes. It has a capability of producing horsepower charts, torque charts, and air-fuel graphs. This is a place where I like to burst guys' 100 horsepower bubbles. They all got 100 horse till you put them on the dyno. Once you got the bike up on the dyno, we're going to strap it down. After we've done that, we're going to warm the bike up for 20 minutes. We're going to interface it into the software of the Dynojet 250. That's when the fun begins. And hopefully the bike will stay together during its full throttle RPMing. Then we'll see who can brag, who's got 100 horse and who doesn't.
Just having a little fun.
What we look for in a horsepower curve is a nice steady climb from start RPM to end RPM straight up is what you're really looking for. On a torque curve, totally different than a horsepower curve. Torque curve is exactly what it says, a curve. You want a nice semicircle of torque where it starts building at low RPM and you like to try and peak out around 3,000. And the horsepower takes you to the finish line.
So apparently they need gas to run.
Yeah, apparently they seem to run better with gas.
So it was done kind of fast and it never got dynoed when the jets were changed. The cap blew off the oil tank.
Oil in it. You know when you first took off and this thing's got that
yeah.
And the way it goes, that should be gone. Basically, carburation was way too rich on it. This thing had a huge bog in the mid-range. Well, 3 to 4 grand, that's where you want your power. I click on this thing at 3,800. I gained over 30 horse here by jetting. All done in the dyno room now. A couple disappointed guys who didn't have the horsepower they thought they were going to have, but they see how much work's involved in actually tuning the bike correctly. Everybody's quite happy in the gains we got, and now they know their bike's running as close to 100% as we can get. Now comes the fun part. We get to go down to Grand Bend Motorplex to the Dragstrip and actually burn some rubber and have some fun, because when the green light drops, all the BS stops.
We'll check out if Dino has Al on the ropes next week. But first, Donny Peterson's going to tell us everything he knows about oil.
Hi, I'm Donny Peterson, and this is Bikertv Techline. I've owned heavy-duty cycles here in Toronto for 30 years, and I've been the Techline editor for American Iron Magazine since 1989. Today we're going to do the all-time most controversial subject, and that is oil. The 4 functions are, the first one is cooling. Oil takes heat that's generated from the moving parts of the engine and takes it away to be dissipated elsewhere into the air on an air-cooled engine. Cleaning. Particulate and particles that are formed by wearing engine parts, they are taken away and they're removed by the oil. Of course, the one you all know about, lubricating. Oil lubricates the parts so, again, that they don't wear against each other. Sealing is a lesser known function of oil, and a seal cannot work unless it has a fine film of oil on it. So another function of oil is to enable a seal to do its job and keep the oil inside the engine. Now this is an Evolution cylinder used from 1986 to actually the present, as an Evolution flat top piston. It's very smooth, and the parts where the piston runs inside the cylinder, again, very smooth. Now here we have a diagram. So we have the piston in the cylinder. When you look under a microscope, it really looks like this. It's not smooth. So when an engine breaks in, these parts, they must rub against each other until they become smoother. And this is what break-in actually is. And of course, as they rub against each other, sediment and particulates form that's it's dangerous to the engine, and it must be carried away by the oil. How often should we change the oil on our bike? Well, why don't I tell you what I do. If I have a brand new engine or a brand new Harley, I know in the first 1,500 miles that there's a lot of wear going on, a lot of particulate and debris being formed, and we want to get that out of the engine, and of course the oil carries it out. So I change my oil, say, after 50 miles, after 250 miles, 500 miles, 1,000 miles, 1,500 miles, engine's broken in, then I go to the normal interval period recommended by your manual. Synthetic oil is better than fossil oil once the engine is broken in, and there's no discussion about this. It is better, it is better, it is better. Now there's certain conditions that you have to change your oil more often. Suppose you're riding on gravel roads, dusty roads, on a sand beach, in salt air. These are all situations where the oil is going to get bastardized and it's going to become dirty fast, and it needs to be changed more often. If you let your bike idle a lot because you like the chug-chug of the exhaust or you want to listen to your stereo, you have to change your oil more often because it's an air-cooled engine. Air's not cooling it, therefore the oil's heating up. You have to change it. Of course, if you're letting your bike idle, you probably won't care about changing your oil either. This is Donny Peterson signing off from Techline, and we'll see you again next week.
Don't go away. We've only got to second base. Here's Barb, where the biker world meets art.
Point St. Charles Tattoo is where you're going to find Carnie Marnie. She's part of a whole new generation of tattoo artists, one whose appreciation for tattoos past helps fuel her passion to shape its future.
I feel like living it up, living it up, living it up. I feel like living it up, living it up, living it up.
There's an immediacy to Western tattooing that I think people just enjoy experiencing, because you can go in, get your tattoo in a couple of hours. It's basically about the memory or that experience. Definitely people do come to me for a certain kind of tattoo. It would be that sort of cartoony, old school Western traditionalism that I'm drawn to.
Marnie did this one over here. It's a classic style of tattoo, sailor, pin-up style. It's basically a tattoo style that I've always loved. This is actually my shop. I've got a skate and snowboard culture shop. I put a lot of work into it, so start tattooing it.
My main inspiration comes from artists like Sailor Jerry, Ed Hardy, pin-up art, Tex Avery, all that stuff comes into play as well. Another artist, Scott Harrison, I adore that guy's work, and we have some of his paintings here and at the shop.
Living it up, I feel like living it up, living it up, living it up.
I started painting toilet seats because the first tattoo shop that I ever worked at, Tattoo Mania, they were remodeling the bathroom, and I just thought it would be cool to paint a toilet seat for Pierre. And people just saw that one, and then someone else wanted one, so I did another one, and they started out mostly going to tattoo shops. My style that you see, say, on the skateboards or the toilet seats, that kind of paintings, that translates really easily into tattoos, but I feel that my own art, I can bring in more of a sense of humor than, say, the client doesn't want to get, you know, something funny written on their butt, say, I can paint it on a toilet seat. Renovating the shop last year with Tony and moving in with him was it was a life-changing experience. Tony, he's a wealth of history and knowledge of tattooing. I mean, there's not that many of that generation of tattooers around, and I think we're privileged, really privileged to work with him. Tony painted the window blind flash in 1961, or around there. And it was basically just a collection of tattoo flash imagery that he wanted to put in a larger format. He also would use the roll-up to hide the tattoo flash when he wanted to, because it was illegal back in New York in those days.
It's entirely different today in tattooing than it was in the 60s or 50s, 40s. Like I said, if you got tattooed then, you were either a criminal or, you know, you walk with a tattoo in a place, they'd look at you funny. It's an art form. It's not, I don't consider it tattooing today. It's art on skin.
So we're about 8 hours into this tattoo, I would say. The outline was about a 5-hour sit, and I would estimate that we're going to have probably 3 to 4 more sits. I'd say 2 solid days of color, and then maybe a day or 2 of finishing or touch-up. Today's session we did the head, which is probably the most challenging part of the whole tattoo, given the fact that almost every color that I'll be using throughout the whole piece has to somehow, or will somehow, come out in the head. Tattooing is experiencing its renaissance, if you will. We're looking back to its roots of tattooing, so I think that's what's bringing in like the Japanese aesthetic, the Western traditionalism. It's definitely, people are looking directly at tattooing itself to inspire the future of tattooing.
What's better than a sunny day, roaring engines, and lots of friends? We hit St. Thomas Dragstrip for this week's party.
So you've souped up your bike, bragged about it to all your friends. What next? Well, you put your talk to the test where the rubber meets the road. And here at the St. Thomas Dragway, bikers do just that, leaving their mark quite literally on the quarter mile. Just give me a rundown of your bike here.
It's an 89 Springer Softail. Started out as anyways. It's much modified. The frame is stretched and it's 95 cubic inch, but most of the flywheels are stock Harley. It's not a stroker or anything. All my bikes have hand shifts. It's just the way I like to fly.
What are the main features that you've added on this that you think will help you today?
We got a Hayabusa rear rim that's been machined to fit on a stock Harley Davidson swing arm. Back cut all the gears in the transmission. A Ninja front tire to lighten it up. And we've got nitrous oxide in the right side tank.
When you get here, you sign up whatever class you're running, fill your tech sheet out, and then the track opens for test and tune for a couple hours. After test and tune, the eliminations start. You're really racing your time. You can't go faster than your time, but you still got to cross the line before the other guy, and if you don't, you lose.
In the 60s and 70s, I was race director here, and we've run bikes right back to opening day in May of 1962, and I was here. Some of these bikes here today will run the speed limit in first gear, and they got 5 more to go, you know, so where are they going to go to use that? The police don't want them on the street doing that bad stuff, so down here they come.
So you just went down the strip. What happened?
Well, somehow I managed to win my first round. I dialed pretty close to my dial-in time, so, well, fingers crossed.
Tell me a little bit about why you're here at this event today.
We're doing some testing today, getting prepared for a big AMRA race we have coming up in Kentucky, September 23rd. We're #1 right now in points, so we're just trying to get everything dialed in so we have a good race.
You just finished a run. What happened?
Missed a gear.
You missed a gear. What is this? What do you do now?
Go home.
It's over?
Yeah.
So
Miller time.
I like the wheelies off the launch. The top end speed at the end if you crack 120 miles an hour. For a Harley, you know, a bike that weighs over 600 pounds, it's fun. Fast and fun.
I thought you were going home. What's going on?
Oh, they talked me into buying back. Now I got to race the first guy I raced that I lost against, so I might be going home again.
When we opened the track in 1962, we had a timing system called a cron deck timing system, and those cron decks were just basically clocks. Now everything's computerized and gives reaction times, 60 foot, 330, 8th mile, margin of victory, who won, who lost, who broke out. Technology's great.
So you guys were out there together on the track.
Yeah.
What happened out there?
I beat myself. I red lighted. I left too soon. So that was, at that moment, he wins.
The people who are thinking about coming down to race, how do they start?
Best way to do it is coming down on a Friday night with a street legal vehicle, and $15 you can play from 6:30 till 10 o'clock.
You don't humiliate them if their time sucks, do you?
Absolutely not. I don't have to do that. Their buddies do it for them.
Winner of the Harley class right here.
Thanks.
How's it feel? You got the trophy?
It feels pretty good, I guess.
How many of these do you have at home, honestly?
This is the only second one.
Only the second? Well, how many more to come, you think?
Hopefully one in the end of this month in Kentucky.
Is it getting hot around here? Stay tuned. Today I'm hooking up with the Windsor Harley Owners Group. We're going to rip up the roads of Windsor and surrounding area.
We're just going to find some nice country roads, winding roads to go for a ride on, and some great scenery, and just have fun, ride with good people, and enjoy it.
But I'm in it for the long haul.
Let's get this show on the road.
It's all right with me.
Ready to go, bud? We'll go meet everybody else.
The roadhouse, daylight's burning up the miles. The blacktop goes forever. I was born a highway child.
Bye, Al.
Hi, guys.
Always people wait
Can't get nicer than this.
to have a real good time. So let's get the big wheel rolling and rock on down the line. You better get out the swamp if you don't like the snakes and the bull frogs. You better stay on the porch if you don't want to run with the big dogs. And if you can't cut it, but it better drop the knife. It may prove to be the blue. That's just my life. I always have a hard time walking out the door, but I always have a good time, and I'm ready for.
Well, we just ended up at the Colchester Harbor. Beautiful day out at the water. Just a little stop on the way.
Person, your favorite part, eh?
The bumps, the noise, the wind.
It's not a game. It's not for everybody, but it's the life I choose. I got gypsy blood. I'm always on the move.
afternoon. I had a great time today with the Windsor Harley Owners Group. If you'd like Bikertv to show up to one of your rides, you can contact us at bikertv.ca. I'm Heather Ireland, and I'll see you next time on Bikertv.
It's been fun, but all great times must end. Bikertv will be back next week with Donny and the history of Harley engines. Dino and the gang fighting it out for track supremacy, an absolutely incredible illustrator. And Heather takes us to London with rocker David Gogo.
Every biker out there who loves to be in the wind, loving the ride, and having fun. Keep in touch at info@bikertv.ca. See you next week, and remember, only a biker knows why a dog sticks his head out of a car window. Bye. Special thanks to Centretown Pawnbroker, London's cash guys. Time Out Cycles, custom motorcycles, parts, and service. Motorcycle Mojo Mag, it's about the ride.